Today is a Tuesday, July 8, 2025. Netanyahu and Trump push controversial plan to relocate Palestinians from Gaza amid ceasefire talks. Netanyahu and Trump discuss relocating Palestinians from Gaza, drawing condemnation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former U.S. President Donald Trump met at the White House on Monday evening to advance their controversial idea of forcibly transferring Palestinians from the Gaza Strip to other countries, a proposal critics say amounts to ethnic cleansing. The meeting took place in the Blue Room of the White House, as indirect ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas continued in Qatar, seeking to end the devastating 21-month-long war in Gaza. Netanyahu described the discussion as part of efforts to offer Palestinians a better future, suggesting they could be resettled in neighboring nations. If people want to stay, they can stay. But if they want to leave, they should be able to leave. It shouldn't be a prison, Netanyahu told reporters. We're working with the United States and several countries to realize what has always been said to give the Palestinians a better future. Trump, who earlier provoked outrage by calling Gaza a potential Riviera of the Middle East, claimed that surrounding nations had shown great cooperation in the relocation plans. Something good will happen, he assured. Critics slam proposal as ethnic cleansing. Observers and analysts, however, have strongly criticized the idea as unfeasible and dangerous. Al Jazeera's Hamda Salhat, reporting from Amman, Jordan, noted that the so-called voluntary migration has long been condemned internationally as a recipe for ethnic cleansing. Former Israeli diplomat Alan Pincus dismissed the plan as unrealistic. Just because politicians throw around statements about relocating Palestinians doesn't mean a practical, implementable plan exists. This is a recipe for catastrophe because it ensures no durable post-war agreement in Gaza. Reports indicate that consulting firms, such as the Boston Consulting Group, were asked to draft relocation scenarios, but experts believe these are neither practical nor acceptable under international law. Stalled ceasefire negotiations. While Trump and Netanyahu met, Israeli and Hamas negotiators held a second day of indirect talks in Qatar, aimed at reaching a 60-day ceasefire. Proposals include phased release of hostages and prisoners, Israeli troop withdrawals from parts of Gaza, and discussions on ending the war entirely. Yet key issues remain unresolved. Hamas insists on a complete Israeli withdrawal and a permanent ceasefire, while Netanyahu insists the war will only end if Hamas surrenders, disarms, and its leaders go into exile, conditions Hamas rejects. Although Trump expressed optimism earlier in the week that a deal was within reach, Netanyahu downplayed expectations, stating that Israel would always retain security control over Gaza and rejecting the idea of a Palestinian state. Monday's talks in Qatar ended without any breakthrough, though Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff, who helped craft the U.S.-backed proposals, is expected to join negotiators there soon. A Nobel nomination and Iran on the agenda. During the meeting, Netanyahu also handed Trump a letter he claimed was part of a nomination for the former president to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, a gesture that seemed to delight Trump. So much of this is about optics, noted Al Jazeera's Phil Lavelle from Washington. Netanyahu wants to portray himself at home as back in Trump's good graces and achieving diplomatic successes. Trump has made clear his desire for a Nobel, citing U.S.-mediated truces between India and Pakistan, and the DRC and Rwanda as examples of his peace efforts. The two leaders also discussed Iran. Trump revealed that Tehran had requested to resume talks with Washington over its nuclear program after enduring heavy Israeli and U.S. strikes during their brief conflict weeks earlier. "We have scheduled Iran talks. They took a big drubbing," Trump stated, with Witkoff indicating talks could take place within a week. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, in an interview with U.S. journalist Tucker Carlson released on Monday, expressed optimism that Iran's differences with the U.S. could be resolved diplomatically. Netanyahu is also scheduled to meet U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio during his trip. Thanks for watching and subscribing to the channel.